Rain has a way of shrinking the world outside your house. The glass turns into a silver sheet, and the familiar lanes blur into shadows. For Ria, that monsoon was supposed to mean quiet evenings at her new apartment, reading, sipping tea, and waiting for her husband to return from his late shifts. But one night, the rain delivered something else. It began with a sound, a knock. Ria was on the couch, a book open in her lap, when she first heard it. A single, sharp talk against the glass of the living room window. She frowned, listening. Perhaps a branch, she thought, blown by the storm. But then it came again. 2 knocks, slow, deliberate. Her apartment was on the 4th floor. There were no balconies outside that window, no ledges, no way anyone could be standing there. Still, she set the book aside and pulled back the curtain just an inch. Nothing. Just rain sliding down the pane. Relieved, she let the curtain fall and sat back. Minutes later, 3 knocks, louder this time. Her heart stuttered. She stood, every step toward the window feeling heavier. She yanked the curtain fully aside. The window was empty, but on the fog glass, she saw it marks 3 small ovals, perfectly shaped like fingertips, pressed into the condensation. Fresh. Ria's throat tightened. She quickly rubbed them away with her palm, locked the window latch, and retreated to the bedroom. When her husband, Kabir, came home near midnight, she told him everything. He laughed gently. "It's just your imagination, Ree. The mind plays tricks during storms. Maybe the building creaks, or birds hit the glass." She wanted to believe him. For a few nights, nothing happened. The storm passed. The air lightened. She slept soundly. But then, a week later, it returned. At exactly 10:47 p.m., the knock echoed again, 3 deliberate taps on the glass. Ria froze in bed. Kabir wasn't home yet. She clutched her phone, staring at the closed bedroom door. The knocks came again. Steady, patient. Finally, summoning courage, she crept out. The living room was dark except for the dim streetlight glow through the curtains. She slowly peeled the fabric back, and there it was. Not a figure, not a face, just a hand. Pale, pressed flat against the glass. Its fingers long, joints sharp. The hand didn't move. It just stayed there, palm against the window pane. Ria gasped and stumbled backward. The moment she did, the hand slid away, melting into the darkness outside. Her husband arrived 10 minutes later to find her trembling in the bedroom. He checked everywhere, balcony, corridor, even the rooftop access. Nothing. No footprints. No sign anyone had climbed. But on the living room glass, the handprint remained, clear as day. Kabir grew serious after that.
If it happens again, don't
he
go
said,
near the window.
"Don't go
Call
near the
me."
window. Just call me." But the following night, Kabir worked late again, and at 10:47, the knock returned. Only this time, it didn't stop. Tap after tap, insistent, demanding. Ria pressed her back to the wall, tears filling her eyes. Then her phone buzzed. It was a text from an unknown number. "I'm outside.
Why
won't you open?"
Why won't you open?
Her chest seized. The knocking grew faster, almost angry. She couldn't bring herself to look, couldn't answer. She sat frozen until the sound finally stopped around midnight. When Kabir got home, she showed him the message. His face drained of color. The number wasn't one she recognized, but Kabir did. It belonged to the previous tenant of their apartment. According to the landlord, that tenant had left in a hurry. He never explained why. The next day, Kabir confronted the watchman. After some hesitation, the old man admitted the truth. 2 years ago, a young woman had lived in the same flat. She was often seen waiting by that very window for her fiancé, who worked night shifts. One stormy evening, she leaned too far while waving, slipped, and fell 4 stories to her death. Since then, tenants complained of knocks on the glass, always at night, always from someone who shouldn't be there. Windows so, Ria and Kabir moved out within a month. To this day, Whenever rain lashes against a window, Ria says she feels her chest tighten, waiting for that sound. 3 slow knocks, a hand on the other side, and the terrible question, if she had ever opened the window, who or what would have stepped inside? During the monsoon, every city has its dangers. Fallen power lines, slippery roads, rising water. But sometimes, the real danger is what you cannot explain. For Sumit, a call center employee in Guwahati, the monsoon meant endless overtime. His shifts often ended after midnight, when the streets were empty and the rain left the air smelling of wet soil. Normally, he took the main highway home, but one evening he decided to try a shorter route, a narrow lane that cut through the older part of the city. That choice still haunts him. The lane was dark, lined with broken houses and locked shops. Rainwater flowed like streams along both sides. His bike splashed through puddles as he rode, careful but steady. Halfway in, he noticed the road ahead had flooded, water spreading across the path. He slowed down, unsure of its depth, and then he saw them. 2 figures stood ankle-deep in the water, a man and a woman, both dressed strangely in clothes that looked decades old, loose shirts and long skirts soaked by rain. They didn't move, they just stood side by side, facing him. Sumit hesitated. The streetlight behind him flickered, making everything swim in shadow. Finally, he called out, "Are you all right? Do you need help?" The figures didn't reply, but slowly, they began to walk toward him. Their movements were odd, too stiff, too synchronized, as if each step was carefully placed. The water rippled around their legs, yet their clothes never clung or stuck. They stopped just 10 feet away. Sumit could see their faces now, pale and expressionless, eyes too wide, too dark. A chill spread through him. He revved the engine, ready to turn back. That's when the man spoke. "Shortcut," he said, voice low, broken. "Take the shortcut." The woman echoed him. Same words, same tone. Shortcut. Sumit's skin prickled. He backed the bike, trying to keep his eyes on them. But when he glanced down for just a second to steady the wheel and looked up again, they were gone. The flooded stretch lay empty. No ripples, no footsteps, no sign anyone had been there. Shaken, he turned his bike around and sped back to the main road. But as he reached the corner, something made him glance in the rear-view mirror. For a brief second, he saw them again standing right in the middle of the lane, water around their ankles, staring after him. The next day, he told his colleague about the encounter. The man's face went pale. "You don't know the story? That shortcut flooded badly in the 1982nd. A couple drowned there, trapped in their car when the water rose too fast. Since then, people say their spirits wait in the lane. Anyone who enters alone at night sees them." Sumit never took that route again. Even years later, he avoids narrow lanes during the rains, sticking only to crowded roads no matter how long it takes. The monsoon hides many dangers. Some can be explained: floods, accidents, poor roads, but others linger, unspoken, waiting on quiet nights when the rain drowns out the world. And sometimes, when you take a shortcut, you end up somewhere you were never meant to go. In Assam, tea estate roads take on a very different form during the monsoon. In daylight, they look lush and endless, but at night, the rain turns them into black tunnels, where even the strongest torch beam only reaches as far as your hand. The monsoon has a way of cutting you off from the world you know. Arun, a night guard for one of the estates, patrolled these roads on his motorcycle every evening. His job was simple: check the dirt tracks after the factory shut down, make sure no trespassers or animals had strayed in, and ride back before dawn. But one season, during the rains, his patrols changed forever. The first time it happened was on a Wednesday night. The rain was heavy, the road flooded in patches. As he turned sharply along a bend, his headlight caught something ahead about 50 meters in front of him. It was a lantern. Not a modern torch, but the old kind. A hurricane lamp, its yellow flame swaying as if carried by someone. A figure seemed to be walking with it, but the rain blurred everything. Arun thought it must be a worker who had missed his shift. He honked the horn. No reaction. The lantern kept moving ahead. He accelerated, but no matter how much speed he gathered, the lantern remained at exactly the same distance, 50 meters ahead. Never closer, never farther. He slowed and finally stopped. At once the lantern stopped too. His headlight illuminated nothing but the wall of rain and bushes. The glow of the lantern stood still, almost patient, waiting. Arun shouted, "Who's there? This is private estate land." No answer. Only the roar of water on leaves. After 10 seconds, the lantern began moving again, drifting deeper into the trail. Arun's heartbeat quickened. He decided to follow. He rode slowly, eyes fixed on the faint glow. The lantern moved off the main road into a narrow mud track. Arun steered after it. The trail twisted between tall tea bushes, slippery and flooded. Then, as he rounded one turn, the lantern was gone. He stopped, dismounted, and searched with his torch. There was nothing, only mud, dripping branches, and puddles. But lying on the wet ground was a single burnt matchstick. Strange, almost fresh, as if it had just been struck minutes earlier. The next night, it happened again. Around 11:45, the lantern appeared at the same place, at the same distance. This time, Arun was determined to catch it. He gunned the engine, chasing the glow with all the speed his motorcycle could give. But just as he thought he was closing in, the lantern blinked once and vanished. Breathing hard, he pulled to a stop and turned to look behind him. In the puddles by his rear wheel, he saw something chilling the reflection of that same lantern light, as though it was standing right behind him. He spun around. Nothing, just black rain. For 3 days he applied for leave, but the supervisor refused. "Patrols are most important during the rains," he said. "Animals wander, poachers sneak in. You can't skip it." By Monday, Arun's anxiety had peaked. He decided that if the lantern showed itself again, he would confront it directly. Midnight came, and there it was, 50 meters ahead. This time, he drove straight into its glow, headlight flooding the spot. But when he reached it, there was no lantern, no figure, only the muddy road. And yet, on the ground, he saw something worse. Wet footprints, bare footprints, fresh, pressed into the mud. And their direction was wrong. They were leading not forward, but straight toward where Arun had been standing. His blood ran cold. Without thinking, he turned the bike around and rode hard back to the guard post. That night, his report in the logbook was short. Possible intruder, lantern sighted, no confirmation. The next morning, one of the senior guards approached him quietly. "You saw the lantern too, didn't you?" Arun froze. "You mean, this happened before?" The old guard nodded. Back in 1972, a worker drowned in the estate floods. People carried lanterns back then, not torches. They say his spirit still roams the patrol road, always 50 meters ahead, always just out of reach. Some follow it and lose their way. Some chase it and find nothing. But it never comes closer, and it never lets you go. From that day, Arun avoided that route at night. If he saw the glow, he turned away and rode back to the chowkey without a second thought. Measure. Locals still whisper about it. On heavy monsoon nights, a yellow light sways along the road. Some claim it's just an old lamp flame dancing through mist. Others swear it's a soul still walking the estate, forever 50 meters ahead, never to be caught. And the scariest part? Every guard who has seen it agrees on one thing. The moment you stop, the lantern stops too, waiting, watching, as if daring you to come closer.